talk about that. I mean, you start off and you dig into. I mean, the whole book is really aligned around this framework, and the FAIR framework, as as you present it, as you introduce it, it stands for fit, alignment, integration, and rationale. So, Mark, walk us through this. And again, I also want to say I don't want to. This is not to discourage people from buying the book because we're having a short conversation about it, and there is a lot more detail to be found when reading the book. But again, just for somebody being introduced to it and to to encourage people to dig into it further, tell me more about the FAIR framework.
Yeah. So we're we started we're in the as I'm a venture capitalist, so I invest in technology companies. And I think of myself as sort of in the pattern recognition business. And over the course of decades, you sort of build, you see patterns. And one of the things that we saw in all of these interviews and all of my experience going through M&A is some patterns.
Mm-hmm.
And we were able to put that together in this framework. So FIT stands for cultural fit.
Okay.
You know, can you do you like the people? Do you share values? Can you be, can you spend a day with the other person and not want to scream at the end of the day? Can you, like, when the doors are closed and decisions are made, do you share that same
Sure.
sort of cultural orientation of how you make decisions?
If I can interrupt you for a minute. So, the book is about selling your startup. So when you're saying, do you like the people? Are you saying as a seller, do you like the people that are going to be acquiring your business
Yeah.
or the other way
Yeah.
around? Okay.
Well, actually, yes,
Okay.
both ways,
Yes.
right? I think this framework is actually bi-directional. It's every bit as much for people who are purchasing businesses
Yeah.
as it is for people who are being acquired.
So if
So,
I and again, apologies for interrupting, but
sure.
it's a really important point that I'd like you to make is that you said, like, does the buyer fit into the culture of the company, right? If I'm selling the business, say we take it from that side, right? Um, why would a seller care? If I'm selling my business, okay, maybe it's my baby, maybe it's not my baby, but I'm getting my check and I'm getting out of here. Why would I care that the buyer fits into the culture of my company, which I'm leaving?
Well, that's a great question. And maybe you're leaving, maybe.
Right.
But let me ask you a question. I'll back, which
Yeah.
is, I'm a big believer in servant leadership, meaning there's a greater responsibility. So if you think of it as a zero-sum game
Mm-hmm.
where the only thing that matters is the check, the size of the check I get, the founder, okay, that's one lens to look at it.
Yep.
But we have a greater responsibility. And so one of the questions I ask CEOs who sell their company is, what's the time horizon that you're evaluating this on? And will your employees,
Yep.
will they come to work for you if you start a next company?
Yep.
And how, did you really take care of your employees?
Right.
Will your customers, is this the best home for your customers? You just spent, X number of years, like, hopefully you love your customers, like, hopefully you care about them. Like, is this going to be, are you going to orphan them? Is this going to be a good home for your customers, your partners, if you have investors?
Mm-hmm.
My question is, will your investors invest in your next company?
Mm-hmm. It's
Right?
amazing how the attitude towards companies really have. I mean, you remember the movie Wall Street with Michael Douglas,
Yeah, of
100
course.
years ago, and the whole basis is that he's the ugly venture capitalist that's gonna, buy a business and break it up into pieces and sell off
Right.
the assets or whatever. Yeah, that still goes on, obviously, and in the end, it's a free market, and people are gonna still want to try and profit. But I think you're right. For most of the clients that I see, most of the people that I interview, they built something. They recognize the importance of of their employees, their customers, their partners, their suppliers, as an organization of people that depend on them. And just to walk away from that just because you get a big check, I'm finding fewer people willing to do that.